Alright, so I have my coals set up here in my Weber Star Spangled Kettle. I have it set for about 3/4 of the grill, and I have wood maybe about, I've got it set up halfway through, but I probably won't go that far with the wood. I'll probably pull it off if I feel like I have enough smoke on it already, but I'm going to be smoking a Boston butt this morning, or a pork butt. And I am about to add my hot coals here, and then this is going to slowly burn around in this snake method, and then over here my pork butt should be done. I'm going to add my vortex. Normally a vortex is used for high heat cooking, but it is also marketed for this purpose too. I'm going to add a water pan in here, and what this is going to do is kind of shield the edges of my pork butt. I'll set my pork butt right over the top, and this kind of shield the heat, direct heat from the edges of my pork butt, and get hopefully more of an even cook. I'm about to add my coals, and I'll be right back. So I've added my pan in the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and just add some water to that. I'm adding warm water, just so that when my fire starts, it's not having heat up that cold water. So I'm starting with kind of warm to hot tap water, and then I'm going to add my coals. Now I used some old coals that I had where I cooked something the other night with using the vortex, but I'm going to add these. I just used them as my starter coals. They were about half burned, so I'm going to add them to my start here. And it may be a little excess, but I wanted enough to preheat my grill. Alright, so I've got my pork butt here. I'm not going to trim it any because the fat cap is not very thick on it. I got this at Rouse's grocery. I think it's kind of a southeast regional store. So if you're watching this from somewhere else, you may not have a Rouse's in your area. And they had them on sale for maybe 97 cents a pound. And I went ahead and picked it up and threw it in the deep freeze. So anyway, I'm going to smoke it today on the Weber Star Spangled Kettle. I'm going to just use French's mustard as a coating. Some people use their hands for this, but I'm going to try to keep the mustard off my hands today. So I'm going to use a basting brush. Just get a nice even coat. It doesn't have to be very, very thick. It's mainly just there to help the seasoning stick to the butt. And you don't have to do this. I took my pork butt out of the refrigerator probably an hour ago and just let it start sitting on the counter and coming to room temperature. That way I'm not putting an ice cold butt on the grill, on the smoker, so that maybe my coals don't have to work quite as hard to get it up to temp. This is going to take about 8 hours or so anyway. I'm hoping with the very warm temperatures outside in the 90s that my temp doesn't struggle to stay up. I'm just going to get a nice even coat of that on there, and then I'll flip it over in a minute after I put some seasoning on it. Now I plan to use some Cabela's pineapple ancho chili premium barbecue sauce that my son gave me for Father's Day. This is what I plan to use on mine. My wife may use something different, but I'm not going to be basting this pork butt with barbecue sauce. That's just kind of an end thing. But what I am going to be using is, since I'm using a chili barbecue, I'm going to put a thin layer of the Hatch chili, green chili seasoning. I'm going to top it off with the BBQ Rub from Killer Hogs, which I'm a big fan of Malcolm Reed and his cooking because it helped inspire me to really start doing what I'm doing. So I'm just going to put a light coating of that on there, and then I'm going to come back with this. This is a little more sweeter. The other has a little more salt in it. This is going to help give it some color. Get that nice crust on it. Just a decent coating, because a lot of this is going to come off as the juices cook slowly and that fat cap begins to melt away. Some of the seasoning is going to go away, not a lot. Now I'm going to try to get my sides, but I'm going to flip it over and get the bottom, because I'm gonna cook with the fat cap to the top, so that fat can melt away. I'm gonna rinse my hands really quick. I'm gonna do the same thing to the bottom. All right, so I've got my butt seasoned all the way around, and I'm going to, hopefully my grill is already preheated. I did put a good many starter coals in there so that I could get that temp on up pretty quick and get things rolling, because I do want to eat this for dinner. According to my estimation, it should be ready in time for dinner. Let it rest for about an hour, and then from there, I'm going to eat it. Because that's why I do these videos, because I love to eat what I cook. And I enjoy it, and I want to share it with other people. Probably about 4 or 5 hours in, I'm going to put a probe thermometer in it so I can monitor the temperature through the day. But I'm going to keep a check on that. When I get to about 160 internal, I'm going to pull this butt from the grill. I'm going to wrap it in foil. Some people use butcher paper. I just have foil, so that's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to put it back on the grill. At that point, the smoke is done. So if I have any wood chunks left over, I'll just save them for the next cook. So once this goes on and it gets wrapped, I'll finish it off to about 200, 205 probably. It's where I'll pull it. I'll let it rest for an hour, and then hopefully that bone will slide right out and it'll be ready to pull. All right, I'm getting my butt put right over my water pan here. I'm going to try to put the thicker side toward it. Now, what I have set up is I have a ambient temperature probe thermometer set up on my grill grates right here. And this is going to monitor my inside temp of the grill, while I want to keep it between 225 and 250. Probably closer to 250. And then I have another probe thermometer inside of the butt, right through the middle center mass of the thickest part, because that's going to let me know what kind of temperature I'm looking at internally, and that'll let me know when I need to pull it to wrap it, and also let me know when it's done. So when I wrap it, I'll pull that probe out, I'll wrap it, and I'll stick the probe back in. So at this time, I will be connecting my probes to my thermometer, but at this time when I turned it on, it was dead. So these first few hours, it's not a big deal on knowing the internal temp. Now, of course, knowing the ambient temp is something that I need, but I will get that going here in about 20 minutes. All right, my probe thermometer, I got it charged up, I believe enough. I'll keep a check on it through the day. But you can see there, my internal is at 52 degrees. We got a long ways to go. And then my ambient temperature is around 286. So I want to adjust my vent so that I can bring that temp down just a little bit. So I'm going to adjust my vents here on the top back to about right there, and then I'll keep a check on it. I'm probably not going to come back to video until I'm close to ready to wrap. We'll see. Alright, I said I probably wasn't coming back until I was ready to pull and wrap, but I was just going to give a quick update. I've been kind of watching my temp. I finally got my temp back down to 250 and my internal at 133. So, you know, 30 degrees could take a while. I mean, at this point, I think I'm 2.5 hours in. Typically, you'd pull about 4 hours, so it's very, very going to be close to that anyway. So anyway, let's take a look real quick. Notice I got those vents dialed way on back. It's already looking good. That bark's looking good. I've not hardly burned any of my fire. I've got lots of fire left to go. I'm not going to lose a whole lot of heat, but I just wanted to give you all a glimpse at what that was looking like. All right, so it's been on there, I don't know. It got put on there about maybe 8:50 this morning, and it's like maybe 2 o'clock. I didn't really pay attention to times, but my temp is right. That's what's important. My temperature here is, I don't know if you can see that, but it's 162 internal, and you know, of course, it's a little bit over temp there because I shook the grill earlier to let the coals settle down. Anyway, we're gonna pull this and put it on the foil and wrap it because we're at the temp I want to do that. So it's looking nice. You got some good bark on the top. You can see where the seasoning's pulling back off that fat like I was talking about this morning when I was getting this prepared. I'm only like maybe a quarter way through my snake. So I'm gonna pull this probe out, set it to the side. It is hot. So right now, technically, you could eat it. It's done. But because of the cut of meat, it's tough. So I'm going to put it in foil. I'm actually going to leave it just like I got it here. You can see that juice coming out of that fat there. And my drip pan is about to overflow down there, so I didn't really evaporate a whole lot of liquid. So I'm going to wrap this up, and we're going to put it back on the grill. And it is hot, but that foil actually gives you a little bit of room where you can handle it, and it's not so bad. So I'm putting it back on. The hottest part is going to be this probe, so I am going to grab a rag. This is just one of my grill rags for handling the grates and stuff. That's my temp alarm because it accidentally tipped and touched the coals that you hear beeping. I'm just going back up inside of there. I'm gonna silence that. Push this back over a little. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the top of my lid. I'm at like a quarter right now. I'm gonna go to about half. I'm gonna try to get my temperature up around 300. And what that's gonna do is just proceed this cook a little bit more. One thing about it is at this point, my smoke part is over. And I left this grill is from my premium Weber, but I'm going to flip that up and I'm actually gonna take these coals off. Because I don't need this wood anymore. I mean, not my coals, the wood. The smoke is no longer going to get to the meat. So I'm removing the wood that was not used. And I'm going to set it to the side. I'll use it in another cook sometime. I'm going to show you, in the meantime, I've got something else going over here that normally we just cook in the oven, but since I'm outside today cooking, I'm going to show you that too. So that there, we're going to let it rip until the internal is about 200, 205 degrees. Over here, we've got some baked beans with ground beef, onions, and some other seasonings. All right, so I'm like right at 200. I'm going to go ahead and take this off and I'm going to put it down in this cooler. I'm going to let it rest there for an hour and then hopefully I can pull it at that point. So right now I'm just going to be taking it off the grill. Feels good. And there's some juice in there. So I'm going to let that rest. I'm gonna let these cool off and we'll come back when it's been an hour. All right, we're gonna pull this out. It's been resting and we're gonna go ahead and get to it. All right, so I'm going to transfer this over, actually, to this pan. Move some things around. Make both pans dirty, why not, huh? I'm going to try to pull it right here. Looks pretty tasty. See that bone separated right there from the meat? It should just slide right out. That's when you know your pork's done. Alright. So what I want to try to do is I'm going to take a knife. I'm going to use this one. And that fat cap, I'm just going to try to come right under it. And just pull it straight off the top of the meat. All in one slab. Because I don't want to get all of that fat in my pulled pork. I don't want to lose that meat either, so I'll inspect that fat closely. But you can see you can just slide it right off without much of an issue. And there wasn't much down here. That's mostly just meat. But you can take that bark just to get you a taste of the seasoning. That's pretty good. And that's your pulled pork. You can see in there where that bone was at. It's cooked pretty good. See a lot of guys, they take the bone and it fits your hand and you just use it to break up the meat so it can cool down even more. The bone's a little warm, but it's not like scorching hot. That's a good way to break it up without getting your hands all in it. And you can see there's still some fat inside of the connective areas. You can pull that out as you get this broken on up. Well, that's my 8-hour pulled pork, Boston butt, pork butt, whatever you call it. It's going to be good because I'm going to call it a sandwich. So I have, I went ahead and put some in a bowl and kind of pulled it up pretty good. I mean, I could work at it more, but I'm going to add a little bit more of the Killer Hogs The BBQ Rub, which was mostly what I used on this. Going to add a little bit to it, just a coating in there. And then I've got the pineapple ancho chili barbecue sauce. Just add some of that in there. That's not a lot of sauce or seasoning because the inside of the, unless you inject your butts, which a lot of people do, you're not going to get a whole lot of seasoning on the inside of where the meat is that you're pulling. So after you pull it, you can just hit it with a little seasoning and a little barbecue sauce and then get it somewhat, you know, more flavorful than just the simple meat, which the meat's actually really good on its own. That should be good right there. Then if you want additional, you can add more to it.